Hey, Motorman here. If you watch this channel on a regular basis, you know that last week I mentioned that I'm going to start a new YouTube channel. It's going to be called Muscle Cars Old and New. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to feature all kinds of muscle cars. I love them. And I'm sure if you're a motorcycle enthusiast, you're probably a car enthusiast as well. So you're going to like this channel. But to give you an idea what that channel is going to be about, I'm going to show you this video. It has nothing to do with motorcycles. So if you're here just to see motorcycle tips, tricks, and techniques, I got 1,600 videos on YouTube. You could watch all that. But today, I'm going to show you sort of a preview of what my new channel is going to be about. We happen to have the Mecum Auction going on here in Florida. It's going on still. And I was there last week, took a walk around, took some video, and you're going to see some fantastic cars. It's not going to be about any particular make or model. I love them all. I got a Corvette jacket, I got a Dodge hat, I've owned several Mustangs, but you get the idea. It's going to be about all muscle cars, old and new. So take a look. If you haven't been to a Mecum Auction, especially here in Kissimmee, Florida, it is a gigantic park. I mean, this place is huge. They had over 4,000 cars. As I walk through the gate there, by the way, you pay $30 to get in, another $15 to park. And, well, if you want a hamburger, it's $20. But anyway, this car I'm looking at right now, this is a 1964 Riviera. And you might say, well, that's not a muscle car, but it does have a 425 horsepower motor and two 4-valve carburetors. So I would put it in that same class. It's a car I've always liked. And here is a 63 split window coupe, and it is the Z06 model. Beautifully restored. I mean, this car looks better than the day it came out of the showroom. It's obviously got a very expensive paint job. Most of the window stickers will show you what they estimate the auction pricing is going to be, but not all of them. This didn't have one on there. I'm guessing this car is extremely rare, the Z06 model, and I would estimate, my personal estimate is about $1 million for this car. Beautiful from every angle. Love the C2 Corvettes, and the amount of split window coupes at this auction is just unbelievable. You wouldn't have thought there were that many made, but I guess there were, because they're all here. There were Corvettes galore at this auction. This particular one is a 58, and that color, I've never seen that color before, but it's called Regal Turquoise. It is supposed to be original color. They estimate this car is going to go for somewhere between $150,000 and $200,000. It is a fuel-injected Corvette. I mean, restored, just magnificent. A paint job like this is anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000. That's just for the paint. And I got that from the Muscle Car Warehouse in Miami, who specializes in Corvettes, and that's about the price they give on a great paint job. And here's a 67 Shelby GT500. The 500s were equipped with a 428 cubic inch motor. On the Shelbys, they were rated at 355 horsepower. Estimate $275,000 to $300,000. Yes, that is a lot of money. 4-speed, of course. Very difficult to get good shots of the cars here because there's so many people, and, well, there's always somebody standing in your way, but again, an outstanding paint job, fully restored. And you would think the Shelbys would be pretty rare, but at this auction, Shelby Mustangs were there in profusion. These cars weren't the fastest in the quarter mile in their day. Somewhere around high 14s to very low 15s for this car. And mainly that's because getting them out of the hole when you got a big block, keeping those tires from just going up in smoke, was pretty tough. The polyglass GTs were, well, almost like riding on glass. I've seen some of the reports in magazines and some stuff on the drag strip that most of these cars, if they were actually stock, were, like I said, in that high 14 to 15 range. Here's a 67 GT500 going down the drag strip. Though this car is an automatic, it comes in at about, I believe it was 1524 at 91.55 miles an hour. And here's a 68 Shelby convertible. This particular one is the Shelby GT500KR, which I believe stood for King of the Road. This one has an automatic transmission. And again, it's the condition of most of these cars is just unbelievable. Really better than new. All the door seams line up. The paint is base coat, clear coat instead of just a base coat. Of course, you got the 428 motor. I believe these are also rated at 355 horsepower. And the estimate this car is going to go through at somewhere between $200,000 and $250,000. Who knew? I remember after the first gas crisis of '73, you could find Shelbys all over the place for $2,500 on a used car lot. Nobody wanted them. Too much gas. And here's an example of what became known as the wing cars. This is a Plymouth Superbird. And this particular one was owned by Richard Petty, which is going to bring the price way up. All these wing cars are, whether it be the Daytona or the Superbird, are very, very high dollar cars. This one is estimated to be somewhere between $900,000 and $1 million. It probably had a couple of $100,000 because it was owned by Richard Petty. But I remember back in the day when these cars came out, they laid all over the car lots. The dealers couldn't give them away. Nobody wanted them. They were just too cartoonish for the average person. And they were expensive, somewhere around $5,000. This one's a 440 with the 4-barrel, 375 horsepower. And here we have a 1970 Cuda 446-pack with the shaker hood, 4-speed, plum purple paint. They had some wild paint jobs back in the 70s. White interior. Just an outstanding car. Back then, if you're not familiar with cars from that era, quality control, especially on Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge vehicles, was just about non-existent. And none of them were great. Ford, Chevy, it didn't matter, but the Chrysler products were about the worst as far as quality control. Original sticker on this well-optioned car was $5,031. Absolutely amazing. But of course, that would be about $35,000 today. Back in '70, there were a lot of cars, Camaros and Firebirds, that you could buy nicely equipped for about $4,200. So quite a bit less than this. Excellent paint job on this car. Base coat, clear coat once again. And here's one of my favorite cars from the 50s and early 60s. This is a 1960 Impala. It is equipped with the 348 big block motor. Beautiful red color. I love the interior on these early 60s, late 50s cars, the two-tone. This one also happens to be a 4-speed, which is a very rare option back in the time. And it's hard to believe when you look at this car and the intricacies of it that these were actually mass-produced cars that they, put out by the thousands. Love the rear end of this car. Well, that's it for now. I got a lot more of this. If you'd like to see more, just let me know in the comment section. Please subscribe,